Here's a 4-year-old white pine. So I come up it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So it's in its 4th year. And it is a pine tree, an evergreen. But just behind it, up on the hill, there's these plants which have the name pine, princess pine. They are not pine trees at all. They're an ancient family called the club mosses. And during the time of the dinosaurs, they were the trees, 100-foot tall trees. All of these are clones of one another. Do you know what a clone is? They're absolutely identical in their genetics, in their cells. And they are all, this whole stand, probably connected underneath by an underground runner. By the time this plant comes up out of the ground, the first one, the mommy or daddy of them all, they've been living underground. It's been living underground for 7 to 14 years. And so this stand is very, very old. We never pick these plants, especially during Christmas time. We never pick them or their cousins, the ground pine or creeping jenny, which is a kind of cool name because that's my daughter's name. But princess pine, they're so amazing. And this is where the spores were, and the spores have already dropped to the ground to start another generation. And that plant that grows from the spores will have the mommy and daddy parts, and it will start to develop the next generation. When those two parts come together, they'll form another colony. And so these plants are just super cool. The spores, the dust that comes out of these cones, which have a great name, strobili, they were used in early flash photography. The dust or the spores explode, and so they would use them to make the spark or the flash for early photography. And Native Americans would use the spores too to help with wounds so that there wouldn't be an infection. And they also would throw them in the fire because it was super cool when they did that. Exploded with a flash of light. So lycopodiums, princess pine, but you're not a pine at all. You are a club moss. So let's do a nature symphony. Close your eyes. Raise a finger for every natural sound you hear. 1, 2, 3, go. Job. Did you hear the red-winged blackbird? He did a couple of his squeak kind of sound before I started the recording. He was doing the congaree, and there was a Carolina wren in the distance. Oh yeah, red-winged blackbird and Carolina wren. Tweedle, 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 tweedle. And could you hear the wind? That's so cool. I love to hear the wind. So I heard the wind, the Carolina wren, and I heard the red-winged blackbird. So I counted 3. How many did you have? Be sure to share. I found the other ground pine, and it's right next to a princess pine. Remember, they're both club mosses. Can you see the difference? And so the underground runner is just going off into the woods. The other name, Creeping Jenny. Very cool. Look, see, I'm gonna grow out into the path. Not a good idea though, bud. You're gonna get stepped on. Very cool. And if you've been listening to my videos, what are we gonna say here? I'll let you say it when we see this holly. Look who's under this log. Can you see it? I don't know why I'm whispering, so I'm not sure he can hear us. That's a redback salamander. And look at all the fungus among us. He eats all creatures that would live underneath this log. Let me see. Hard to do this all with one hand. I was just looking to see. Oh my goodness! Vorgishmorg. They're not worms. They have 4 legs. This is the most common amphibian in the woods. Red-backed salamanders. We never touch them with our hands because they breathe through their skin. They don't have lungs like we do. There's a beetle curled around. Did you guys eat that beetle? I see a beetle. Oh, and there's a lot of stuff here. There's another beetle. Ooh. Are you guys eating those beetles? I bet you are. I need to move them. Mommy lays her eggs underneath logs in the summertime, and she curls up around them and protects them. So what I did is I scooped up a lot of the wet stuff from underneath the log, and I moved them over here so they could crawl back underneath on their own. And I put the log back exactly the way I found it. All 4 of them are safely under the leaves. I never just roll the log back over because they've moved. They've moved out of the little place that was protecting them, and they'll get hurt if we put the log back. So that is super, super cool to see 4 redback salamanders. That was the roof of their house, and me as the giant ripped it off. So I'm responsible for them if I uncover them, and I have to make sure that they stay safe. Thank you, redback salamanders, for letting us explore you, and we hope that you have a good day. I can't see him, but he's somewhere right in front of us. A big old red belly woodpecker. Look them up in a book. They are gorgeous, and they don't really have red bellies. There's just kind of like a little pink, I guess, and their lower tummy, but you don't really see it. But both the male and female have red on their head. But the male's red goes all the way up at the back of his head and down on his forehead, where the female's is just like a little patch on the back of her head. They're making a big comeback on Cape Cod, which is super cool. You can hear them in a lot of the woods now. Red-bellied woodpecker.